Shalom. Welcome back to the Cepher Readings. Thank you for stopping by to follow along. I am Trish. I'm sorry it's been some time since I've posted. I have been traveling with my family, but all praise and glory to the Most High Yah, the name of the Son, Yahusha or Yahawashai HaMashiach. May this honor our Father, the Creator, and may this be a blessing to you. We are in Jasher, Yashar, chapter 50. At that time, the children of Tarshish came against the sons of Ishmael and made war with them. And the children of Tarshish spoiled the Ishmaelim for a long time. And the children of Ishmael were small in number in those days, and they could not prevail over the children of Tarshish, and they were sorely oppressed. And the old men of the Ishmaelim sent a record to the king of Mitzrayim, saying, Send, I pray you, unto your servants, officers and hosts, to help us to fight against the children of Tarshish, for we have been consuming away for a long time. And Pharaoh sent Yosef with the mighty men and host which were with him, and also his mighty men from the king's house. And they went to the land of Havilah to the children of Ishmael, to assist them against the children of Tarshish. And the children of Ishmael fought with the children of Tarshish. And Yosef smote the Tarshiim, and he subdued all their land. And the children of Ishmael dwell therein unto this day. And when the land of Tarshish was subdued, all the Tarshishim ran away, and came on the border of their brethren, the children of Yavan. And Yosef with all his mighty men and host returned to Mitzrayim, not one man of them missing. And at the revolution of the year, in the second year of Yosef's reigning over Mitzrayim, Yahuwah gave great plenty throughout the land for 7 years, as Yosef had spoken. For Yahuwah blessed all the produce of the earth in those days for 7 years, and they ate and were greatly satisfied. And Yosef at that time had officers under him, and they collected all the food of the good years, and heaped grain year by year. And they placed it in the treasuries of Yosef. And at any time when they gathered the food, Yosef commanded that they should bring the grain in the ears, and also bring it with it some of the soil of the field, that it should not spoil. And Yosef did according to this year by year, and he heaped up grain like the sand of the sea for abundance, for his stores were immense, and could not be numbered for abundance. And also all the inhabitants of Mitzrayim gathered all sorts of food in their stores in great abundance during the 7 good years. But they did not do unto it as Yosef did. And all the food which Yosef and the Mitzrayim had gathered during the 7 years of plenty was secured for the land in stores for the 7 years of famine, for the support of the whole land. And the inhabitants of Mitzrayim filled each man his store in his concealed place with grain, to be for support during the famine. And Yosef placed all the food that he had gathered in all the cities of Mitzrayim, and he closed all the stores and placed sentinels over them. And Yosef's woman, Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, bore him 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Yosef was 34 years old when he begat them. And the lads grew up, and they went in his ways and in his instructions. They did not deviate from the way which their father taught them, either to the right or left. And Yahuwah was with the lads, and they grew up and had understanding and skill in all wisdom, and in all the affairs of government. And all the king's officers and his great men of the inhabitants of Mitzrayim exalted the lads, and they were brought up amongst the king's children. And the 7 years of plenty that were throughout the land were at an end. And the 7 years of famine came after them, as Yosef had spoken. And the famine was throughout the land. And all the people of Mitzrayim saw that the famine had commenced in the land of Mitzrayim. And all the people of Mitzrayim opened their stores of grain, for the famine prevailed over them. And they found all the food that was in their stores full of vermin, and not fit to eat. And the famine prevailed throughout the land. And all the inhabitants of Mitzrayim came and cried before Pharaoh, for the famine was heavy upon them. And they said unto Pharaoh, Give food unto your servants. And wherefore shall we die through hunger before your eyes, even we and our little ones? And Pharaoh answered them, saying, And wherefore do you cry unto me? Did not Joseph command that the grain should be laid up during the 7 years of plenty for the years of famine? And wherefore did you not hearken to his voice? And the people of Mitzrayim answered the king, saying, As your soul lives, our Adonai, your servants have done all that Joseph ordered. For your servants also gathered in all the produce of their fields during the 7 years of plenty, and laid it in the stores unto this day. And when the famine prevailed over your servants, we opened our stores, and behold, all our produce was filled with vermin, and was not fit for food. And when the king heard all that had befallen the inhabitants of Mitzrayim, the king was greatly afraid on account of the famine, and he was much terrified. And the king answered the people of Mitzrayim, saying, Since all this has happened unto you, go unto Joseph, do whatsoever he shall say unto you, transgress not his commands. And all the people of Mitzrayim went forth and came unto Joseph, and said unto him, Give unto us food. And wherefore shall we die before you through hunger? For we gathered in our produce during the 7 years as you did command, and we put it in store, and thus it has befallen us. And when Joseph heard all the words of the people of Mitzrayim, and what had befallen them, Joseph opened all his stores of the produce, and he sold it unto the people of Mitzrayim. And the famine prevailed throughout the land, and the famine was in all countries. But in the land of Mitzrayim there was produce for sale. And all the inhabitants of Mitzrayim came unto Joseph to buy grain, for the famine prevailed over them, and all their grain was spoiled. And Joseph daily sold it to all the people of Mitzrayim. And all the inhabitants of the land of Canaan, and the Pelishtim, and those beyond the Jordan, and the children of the east, and all the cities of the lands far and nigh, heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim. And they all came to Mitzrayim to buy grain, for the famine prevailed over them. And Joseph opened the stores of grain, and placed officers over them, and they stood and sold to all that came daily. And Joseph knew that his brethren also would come to Mitzrayim to buy grain, for the famine prevailed throughout the earth. And Joseph commanded all his people that they should cause it to be proclaimed throughout the land of Mitzrayim, saying, It is the pleasure of the king, of his second, and of their great men, that any person who wishes to buy grain in Mitzrayim shall not send his servants to Mitzrayim to purchase, but his sons, and also any Mitzri or Canaanite, who shall come from any of the stores from buying grain in Mitzrayim, and shall go and sell it throughout the land, he shall die. For no one shall buy but for the support of his household. And any man leading 2 or 3 beasts shall die, for a man shall only lead his own beast. And Joseph placed sentinels at the gates of Mitzrayim, and commanded them, saying, Any person who may come to buy grain, suffer him not to enter until his name, and the name of his father, and the name of his father's father be written down. And whatsoever is written by day, send their names unto me in the evening, that I may know their names. And Joseph placed officers throughout the land of Mitzrayim, and he commanded them to do all these things. And Joseph did all these things and made these statutes, in order that he might know when his brethren should come to Mitzrayim to buy grain. And Joseph's people caused it daily to be proclaimed in Mitzrayim according to these words and statutes which Joseph had commanded. And all the inhabitants of the east and west country and of all the earth heard of the statutes and regulations which Joseph had enacted in Mitzrayim. And the inhabitants of the extreme parts of the earth came, and they bought grain in Mitzrayim day after day, and then went away. And all the officers of Mitzrayim did as Joseph had commanded, and all that came to Mitzrayim to buy grain. The gatekeepers would write their names and their fathers' names, and daily bring them in the evening before Joseph. Chapter 51. And Yaakov afterward heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim, and he called unto his sons to go to Mitzrayim to buy grain, for upon them also did the famine prevail. And he called unto his sons, saying, Behold, I hear that there is grain in Mitzrayim, and all the people of the earth go there to purchase. Now, therefore, why will you show yourself satisfied before the whole earth? Go also down to Mitzrayim, and buy us a little grain amongst those that come there, that we may not die. And the sons of Yaakov hearkened to the voice of their father, and they rose up to go down to Mitzrayim in order to buy grain amongst the rest that came there. And Yaakov their father commanded them, saying, When you come into the city, do not enter together in one gate, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And the sons of Yaakov went forth, and they went to Mitzrayim. And the sons of Yaakov did all as their father had commanded them. And Yaakov did not send Binyamin, for he said, lest an accident might befall him on the road like his brother. And 10 of Yaakov's sons went forth. And while the sons of Yaakov were going on the road, they repented of what they had done to Yosef. And they spoke to each other, saying, We know that our brother Yosef went down to Mitzrayim, and now we will seek him where we go. And if we find him, we will take him from his Adonai for a ransom, and if not, by force, and we will die for him. And the sons of Yaakov agreed to this thing, and strengthened themselves on account of Yosef, to deliver him from the hand of his Adonai. And the sons of Yaakov went to Mitzrayim, and when they came near to Mitzrayim, they separated from each other. And they came through 10 gates of Mitzrayim, and the gatekeepers wrote their names on that day, and brought them to Yosef in the evening. And Yosef read the names from the hand of the gatekeepers of the city, and he found that his brethren had entered at the 10 gates of the city. And Yosef at that time commanded that it should be proclaimed throughout the land of Mitzrayim, saying, Go forth all you store guards, close all the grain stores, and let only one remain open, that those who come may purchase from it. And all the officers of Yosef did so at that time, and they closed all the stores and left only one open. And Yosef gave the written names of his brethren to him that was set over the open store. And he said unto him, Whosoever shall come to you to buy grain, ask his name. And when men of these names shall come before you, seize them, and send them. And they did so. And when the sons of Yaakov came into the city, they joined together in the city to seek Yosef before they bought themselves grain. And they went to the walls of the harlots, and they sought Yosef in the walls of the harlots for 3 days. For they thought that Yosef would come in the walls of the harlots, for Yosef was very comely and well favored. And the sons of Yaakov sought Yosef for 3 days, and they could not find him. And the man who was set over the open store sought for those names which Yosef had given him, and he did not find them. And he sent to Yosef, saying, These 3 days have passed, and those men whose names you did give unto me have not come. And Yosef sent servants to seek the men in all Mitzrayim, and to bring them before Yosef. And Yosef's servants went and came into Mitzrayim, and could not find them, and went to Goshen, and they were not there. And then went to the city of Ramses, and could not find them. And Yosef continued to send 16 servants to seek his brothers. And they went and spread themselves in the 4 corners of the city. And 4 of the servants went into the house of the harlots, and they found the 10 men there seeking their brother. And those 4 men took them, and brought them before him. And they bowed down to him to the ground. And Yosef was sitting upon his throne in his temple, clothed with princely garments, and upon his head was a large crown of gold, and all the mighty men were sitting around him. And the sons of Yaakov saw Yosef, and his figure, and comeliness, and dignity of countenance seemed wonderful in their eyes, and they again bowed down to him to the ground. And Yosef saw his brethren, and he knew them, but they knew him not. For Yosef was very great in their eyes, therefore they knew him not. And Yosef spoke to them, saying, From whence come you? And they all answered and said, Your servants have come from the land of Canaan to buy grain, for the famine prevails throughout the earth, and your servants heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim. So they have come amongst the other comers to buy grain for their support. And Yosef answered them, saying, If you have come to purchase as you say, why do you come through 10 gates of the city? It can only be that you have come to spy through the land. And they all together answered Yosef and said, Not so, my Adoni. We are right. Your servants are not spies, but we have come to buy grain. For your servants are all brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And our father commanded us, saying, When you come to the city, do not enter together at one gate, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And Yosef again answered them and said, That is the thing which I spoke unto you. You have come to spy through the land. Therefore, you all came through 10 gates of the city. You have come to see the nakedness of the land. Surely, everyone that comes to buy grain goes his way, and you are already 3 days in the land. And what do you do in the walls of harlots in which you have been for these 3 days? Surely spies do like unto these things. And they said unto Yosef, Far be it from our Adoni to speak thus, for we are 12 brothers, the sons of our father Yaakov, in the land of Canaan, the son of Yitzhak, the son of Abraham, the Ivri. And behold, the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan, and one is not. For he was lost from us, and we thought perhaps he might be in this land. So we are seeking him throughout the land, and have come even to the houses of harlots to seek him there. And Yosef said unto them, And have you then sought him throughout the earth, that there only remained Mitzrayim for you to seek him in? And what also should your brother do in the houses of harlots, although he was in Mitzrayim? Have you not said that you are from the sons of Yitzhak, the son of Abraham? And what shall the sons of Yaakov do then in the houses of harlots? And they said unto him, Because we heard that the Ishmaelim stole him from us, and it was told unto us that they stole him in Mitzrayim. And your servant, our brother, is very comely and well favored. So we thought he would surely be in the houses of harlots. Therefore, your servants went there to seek him, and give ransom for him. And Yosef still answered them, saying, Surely you speak falsely and utter lies, to say of yourselves that you are the sons of Abraham. As Pharaoh lives, you are spies. Therefore have you come to the houses of harlots, that you should not be known. And Yosef said unto them, And now if you find him, and his Adoni requires of you a great price, will you give it for him? And they said, It shall be given. And he said unto them, And if his Adoni will not consent to part with him for a great price, what will you do unto him on his account? And they answered him, saying, If he does not give unto us, we will slay him, and take our brother, and go away. And Yosef said unto them, That is the thing which I spoken to you. That is the thing which I have spoken to you. You are spies, for you are come to slay the inhabitants of the land. For we heard the 2 of your brethren smote all the inhabitants of Shechem, in the land of Canaan, on account of your sister. And you now come to do the like in Mitzrayim, on account of your brother. Only hereby shall I know that you are true men, if you will send home one from amongst you to fetch your youngest brother from your father, and to bring him here unto me. And by doing this thing, I will know that you are right. And Yosef called to 70 of his mighty men, and he said unto them, Take these men, and bring them into the ward. And the mighty men took the 10 men. They laid hold of them, and put them into the ward. And they were in the ward 3 days. And on the 3rd day Yosef had them brought out of the ward. And he said unto them, Do this for yourselves, if you be true men, so that you may live. One of your brethren shall be confined in the ward, while you go, and take home the grain for your household to the land of Canaan. And fetch your youngest brother, and bring him here unto me, that I may know that you are true men when you do this thing. And Yosef went out from them, and came into the chamber, and wept a great weeping, for his pity was excited for them. And he washed his face, and returned to them again. And he took Shimon from them, and ordered him to be bound. But Shimon was not willing to be done so, for he was a very powerful man, and they could not bind him. And Yosef called unto his mighty men, and 70 valiant men came before him with drawn swords in their hands. And the sons of Yaakov were terrified at them. And Yosef said unto them, Seize this man and confine him in prison, until his brethren come to him. And Yosef's valiant men hastened, and they all laid hold of Shimon to bind him. And Shimon gave a loud and terrible shriek, and the cry was heard at a distance. And all the valiant men of Yosef were terrified at the sound of the shriek, that they fell upon their faces, and they were greatly afraid, and fled. And all the men that were with Yosef fled, for they were greatly afraid of their lives. And only Yosef and Manasseh his son remained there. And Manasseh the son of Yosef saw the strength of Shimon, and he was exceedingly angry. And Manasseh the son of Yosef rose up to Shimon, and Manasseh smote Shimon a heavy blow with his fist against the back of his neck. And Shimon was stilled of his rage. And Manasseh laid hold of Shimon, and he seized him violently, and he bound him, and brought him into the house of confinement. And all the sons of Yaakov were astonished at the act of the youth. And Shimon said unto his brethren, None of you must say that this is the smiting of a Mitzri, but it is the smiting of the house of my father. And after this Yosef ordered him to be called, who was set over the storehouse, to fill their sacks with grain as much as they could carry, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the road. And thus did he unto them. And Yosef commanded them, saying, Take heed, lest you transgress my orders to bring your brother, as I have told you. And it shall be, when you bring your brother hither unto me, then will I know that you are true men. And you shall traffic in the land, and I will restore unto you your brother, and you shall return in peace to your father. And they all answered and said, According as our Adonai speaks, so will we do. And they bowed down to him to the ground. And every man lifted his grain upon his ass, and they went out to go to the land of Canaan to their father. And they came to the inn, and Levi spread his sack to give provender to his ass. When he saw, and behold, his money in full weight was still in his sack. And the man was greatly afraid. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And the men were greatly afraid. And they said, What is this that Elohim has done unto us? And they all said, And where is Yahuwah's kindness with our fathers, with Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, that Yahuwah has this day delivered us into the hands of the king of Mitzrayim, to contrive against us? And Yehuda said unto them, Surely we are guilty sinners before Yahuwah Eloheinu, and having sold our brother, our own flesh. And wherefore do you say, Where is Yahuwah's kindness with our fathers? And Reuben said unto them, Said I not unto you, Do not sin against the lad? And you would not listen to me. Now Elohim requires him from us. And how dare you say, Where is Yahuwah's kindness with our fathers, while you have sinned unto Yahuwah? And they tarried overnight in that place. And they rose up early in the morning, and laded their ass with their grain. And they led them, and went on, and came to their father's house in the land of Canaan. And Yaakov and his household went out to meet his sons. And Yaakov saw, and behold, their brother Shimon was not with them. And Yaakov said unto his sons, Where is your brother Shimon, whom I do not see? And his sons told him all that had befallen them in Mitzrayim. Chapter 52. And they entered their house, and every man opened his sack. And they saw, and behold, every man's bundle of money was there, at which they and their father were greatly terrified. And Yaakov said unto them, What is this that you have done to me? I sent your brother Yosef to inquire about your welfare, and you said unto me, A wild beast devoured him. And Shimon went with you to buy food, and you say the king of Mitzrayim has confined him in prison. And you wish to take Benjamin to cause his death also? and bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to Sheol on account of Benjamin and his brother Yosef? Now, therefore, my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone, and mischief may befall him by the way in which you go, as it befell his brother. And Reuben said unto his father, You shall slay my 2 sons, if I do not bring your son and place him before you. And Yaakov said unto his sons, Abide you here, and do not go down to Mitzrayim, for my son shall not go down with you to Mitzrayim, nor die like his brother. And Yehudah said unto them, Refrain you from him until the grain is finished, and he will then say, Take down your brother, when he will find his own life and the life of his household in danger from the famine. And in those days the famine was sore throughout the land, and all the people of the earth went and came to Mitzrayim to buy food, for the famine prevailed greatly amongst them. And the sons of Yaakov remained in Canaan 1 year and 2 months until their grain was finished. And it came to pass, after their grain was finished, the whole household of Yaakov was pinched with hunger. And all the infants of the sons of Yaakov came together, and they approached Yaakov, and they all surrounded him. And they said unto him, Give unto us bread, and wherefore shall we all perish through hunger in your presence? Yaakov heard the words of his son's children, and he wept a great weeping, and his pity was roused for them. And Yaakov came unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. And Yaakov said unto them, And have you not seen how your children have been weeping over me this day, saying, Give unto us bread? And there is none. Now therefore return and buy for us a little food. And Yehudah answered and said unto his father, If you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy grain for you. And if you will not send him, then we will not go down. For surely the king of Mitzrayim particularly enjoined us, saying, You shall not see my face unless your brother be with you. For the king of Mitzrayim is a strong and mighty king. And behold, if we shall go to him without our brother, we shall all be put to death. Do you not know, and have you not heard, that this king is very powerful and wise, and there is nothing like unto him in all the earth? Behold, we have seen all the kings of the earth, and we have not seen one like that king, the king of Mitzrayim. Surely amongst all the kings of the earth there is none greater than Abimelech, king of the Philistines. Yet the king of Mitzrayim is greater and mightier than he, and Abimelech can only be compared to one of his officers. Father, you have not seen his palace and his throne, and all his servants standing before him. You have not seen that king upon his throne in his pomp and royal appearance, dressed in his kingly robes with a large golden crown upon his head. You have not seen the honor and glory which Elohim has given unto him, for there is not like unto him in all the earth. Father, you have not seen the wisdom, the understanding, and the knowledge which Elohim has given in his heart, nor heard his sweet voice when he spoke unto us. We know not, Father, who made him acquainted with our names and all that befell us. Yet he asked also after you, saying, Is your father still living? And is it well with him? You have not seen the affairs of the government of Mitzrayim regulated by him, without inquiring of Pharaoh, his Adonai. You have not seen the awe and fear which he impressed upon all the Mitzrayim. And also, when we went from him, we threatened to do unto Mitzrayim like unto the rest of the cities of the Amorim, and we were exceedingly angry against all his words, which he spoke concerning us as spies. And now, when we shall again come before him, his terror will fall upon us all, and not one of us will be able to speak to him either a little or a great thing. Now, therefore, Father, send, we pray you, the lad with us, and we will go down and buy you food for our support, and not die through hunger. And Yaakov said, Why have you dealt so ill with me to tell the king you had a brother? What is this thing that you have done unto me? And Yehuda said unto Yaakov his father, Give the lad into my care, and we will rise up and go down to Mitzrayim and buy grain, and then return. And it shall be when we return, if the lad be not with us, then let me bear your blame forever. Have you seen all our infants weeping over you through hunger, and there is no power in your hand to satisfy them? Now let your pity be roused for them, and send our brother with us, and we will go. For how will Yahuwah's kindness to our ancestors be manifested to you when you say that the king of Mitzrayim will take away your son? As Yahuwah lives, I will not leave him until I bring him and place him before you. But pray for us unto Yahuwah, that he may deal kindly with us, to cause us to be received favorably and kindly before the king of Mitzrayim and his men. For had we not delayed, surely now we had returned a second time with your son. And Yaakov said unto his sons, I trust in Yahuwah Elohim, that he may deliver you and give you favor in the sight of the king of Mitzrayim, and in the sight of all his men. Now therefore, rise up and go to the man, and take for him in your hands a present from what can be obtained in the land, and bring it before him. And may El Shaddai Elohim give you mercy before him, that he may send Benjamin and Shimon your brethren with you. And all the men rose up, and they took their brother Benjamin, and they took in their hands a large present of the best of the land, and they also took a double portion of silver. And Yaakov strictly commanded his sons concerning Benjamin, saying, Take heed of him in the way in which you are going, and do not separate yourselves from him in the road, neither in Mitzrayim. And Yaakov rose up from his sons, and spread forth his hands, and he prayed unto Yahuwah on account of his sons, saying, O Yahuwah Elohim of heaven and earth, remember your covenant with our father Abraham. Remember it with my father Yitzhak, and deal kindly with my sons, and deliver them not into the hands of the king of Mitzrayim. Do it, I pray you, O Elohim, for the sake of your mercies, and redeem all my children, and rescue them from Mitzri power, and send them their two brothers. And all the women of the sons of Yaakov and their children lifted up their eyes to heaven, and they all wept before Yahuwah, and cried unto him to deliver their fathers from the hand of the king of Mitzrayim. And Yaakov wrote a record to the king of Mitzrayim, and gave it to the hand of Yehuda, and into the hands of his sons for the king of Mitzrayim, saying, From your servant Yaakov, son of Yitzhak, son of Abraham the Ivri, the prince of Elohim, to the powerful and wise king, the revealer of secrets, king of Mitzrayim, greeting. Be it known to my Adoni, the king of Mitzrayim, the famine was sore upon us in the land of Canaan, and I sent my sons to you to buy us a little food from you for our support. For my sons surrounded me, and I, being very old, cannot see with my eyes. For my eyes have become very heavy through age, as well as with daily weeping for my son, for Yosef, who was lost from before me. And I commanded my sons that they should not enter the gates of the city when they came to Mitzrayim, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And I also commanded them to go about Mitzrayim to seek for my son Yosef. Perhaps they might find him there. And they did so. And you did consider them as spies of the land. Have we not heard concerning you that you did interpret Pharaoh's dream, and did speak truly unto him? How then do you not know in your wisdom whether my sons are spies or not? Now therefore, my Adoni and king, behold, I have sent my son before you, as you did speak unto my sons. I beseech you to put your eyes upon him until he is returned to me in peace with his brethren. For do you not know, or have you not heard that which our Elohim did unto Pharaoh when he took my mother Sarah, and what he did unto Abimelech, king of the Pelishtim, on account of her, and also what our father Abraham did unto the 9 kings of Eliam, how he smote them, all with the few men that were with him. And also what my 2 sons Shimon and Levi did unto the 8 cities of the Emorium, how they destroyed them on account of their sister Dinah. And also on account of their brother Benjamin, they consoled themselves for the loss of his brother Yosef. What will they then do for him when they see the hand of any people prevailing over them for his sake? Do you not know, O king of Mitzrayim, that the power of Elohim is with us, and that also Elohim ever hears our prayers and forsakes us not all the days? And when my sons told me of your dealings with them, I called not unto Yahuwah on account of you, for then you would have perished with your men before my son Benjamin came before you. But I thought that as Shimon my son was in your house, perhaps you might deal kindly with him. Therefore I did not this thing unto you. Now therefore, behold, Benjamin my son comes unto you with my sons. Take heed of him, and put your eyes upon him, and then will Elohim place his eyes over you, and throughout your kingdom. Now I have told you all that is in my heart, and behold, my sons are coming to you with their brother. Examine the face of the whole earth for their sake, and send them back in peace with their brethren. And Yaakov gave the record to his sons into the care of Yehuda to give it unto the king of Mitzrayim. Chapter 53. And the sons of Yaakov rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the presents, and they went and came to Mitzrayim, and they stood before Yosef. And Yosef beheld his brother Benjamin with them, and he saluted them. And these men came to Yosef's house. And Yosef commanded the superintendent of his house to give to his brethren to eat, and he did so unto them. And at noontime Yosef sent for the men to come before him with Benjamin. And the men told the superintendent of Yosef's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, It will be well with you, fear not. And he brought their brother Shimon unto them. And Shimon said unto his brethren, The Adonai of the Mitzrayim has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes. For when you went out from the city, he let me free, and dealt kindly with me in his house. And Yehuda took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Yosef, and they bowed down to him to the ground, and the men gave the present unto Yosef, and they all sat before him. And Yosef said unto them, Is it well with you? Is it well with your children? Is it well with your aged father? And they said, It is well. And Yehuda took the record which Yaakov had sent, and gave it to the hand of Yosef. And gave it into the hand of Yosef. And Yosef read the Cepher, and knew his father's writing, and he wished to weep. And he went into an inner room, and he wept a great weeping, and he went out. And he lifted up his eyes, and beheld his brother Benjamin, and he said, Is this your brother of whom you spoke unto me? And Benjamin approached Yosef, and Yosef placed his hand upon his head, and he said unto him, May Elohim be gracious unto you, my son. And when Yosef saw his brother, the son of his mother, he again wished to weep. And he entered the chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face, and went out, and refrained from weeping. And he said, Prepare food. And Yosef had a cup from which he drank, and it was of silver beautifully inlaid with onyx stones and bdellium. And Yosef struck the cup in the sight of his brethren, while they were sitting to eat with him. And Yosef said unto the men, I know by this cup that Reuben, the firstborn, Shimon and Levi and Yehuda, Yashar and Zebulun are children from one mother. Seat yourselves to eat according to your births. And he also placed the others according to their births. And he said, I know that this your youngest brother has no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He shall therefore sit down to eat with me. And Benjamin went before Yosef, and sat upon the throne. And the men beheld the acts of Yosef, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at that time with Yosef. And he then gave presents unto them. And Joseph gave one gift unto Benjamin. And Manasseh and Ephraim saw the acts of their father, and they also gave presents unto him. And Asenath gave him one present, and they were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, From the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine, nor eaten any delicacies. And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentifully with him on that day. And Joseph afterward turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him. And Benjamin was still sitting upon the throne before Joseph. And Joseph said unto him, Have you begotten any children? And he said, Your servant has 10 sons, and these are their names: Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ahi, Rosh, Mupiim, Hupiim, and Ard. And I called their names after my brother, whom I have not seen. And he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Ephraim are acquainted with all wisdom. Do you know anything of this? And Benjamin said, Your servant is knowing also in all the wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument, and understand where your brother Joseph is in Mitzrayim, who you said went down to Mitzrayim. And Benjamin beheld that instrument with the map of the stars of heaven, and he was wise, and looked therein, to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Mitzrayim into 4 divisions. And he found that he who was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, What have you seen, and why are you astonished? And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph my brother sits here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph your brother. Reveal not this thing unto your brethren. Behold, I will send you with them when they go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take you away from them. And if they dare their lives and fight for you, then shall I know that they have repented of what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. And if they forsake you when I take you, then shall you remain with me, and I will wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. At that time Joseph commanded his officer to fill their sacks with food, and to put each man's money into his sack, and to put the cup in the sack of Benjamin, and to give them provision for the road. And they did so unto them. And on the next day the men rose up early in the morning, and they loaded their asses with their grain, and they went forth with Benjamin, and they went to the land of Canaan with their brother Benjamin. They had not gone far from Mitzrayim when Joseph commanded him that was set over his house, saying, Rise, pursue these men before they get too far from Mitzrayim, and say unto them, Why have you stolen my Adonij's cup? And Joseph's officer rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Joseph. And when they heard this thing, they became exceedingly angry. And they said, He with whom your Adonij's cup shall be found shall die, and we will also become slaves. And they hastened, and each man brought down his sack from his ass. And they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. And they all tore their garments, and they returned to the city. And they smote Benjamin in the road, continually smiting him until he came into the city. And they stood before Joseph. And Yehuda's anger was kindled, and he said, This man has only brought me back to destroy Mitzrayim this day. And the men came to Joseph's house, and they found Joseph sitting upon his throne, and all the mighty men standing at his right and left. And Joseph said unto them, What is this act that you have done, that you took away my silver cup and went away? But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. And Yehuda said, What shall we say to our Adonai? What shall we speak, and how shall we justify ourselves? Elohim has this day found the iniquity of all your servants. Therefore has he done this thing to us this day. And Yosef rose up and caught hold of Benjamin and took him from his brethren with violence. And he came to the house and locked the door at them. And Yosef commanded him that was set over his house that he should say unto them, Thus says the king, Go in peace to your father. Behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup was found. Chapter 54. And when Yehudah saw the dealings of Yosef with them, Yehudah approached him and broke open the door, and came with his brethren before Yosef. And Yehudah said unto Yosef, Let it not seem grievous in the sight of my Adonai. May your servant, I pray you, speak a word before you? And Yosef said unto him, Speak. And Yehudah spoke before Yosef, and his brethren were there standing before them. And Yehudah said unto Yosef, Surely, when we first came to our Adonai to buy food, you did consider us as spies of the land. And we brought Benjamin before you, and you still make sport of us this day. Now, therefore, let the king hear my words, and send, I pray you, our brother, that he may go along with us to our father, lest your soul perish this day with all the souls of the inhabitants of Mitzrayim. Do you not know what two of my brethren, Shimon and Levi, did unto the city of Shechem, and unto 7 cities of the Emorium, on account of our sister Dinah, and also what they would do for the sake of their brother Benjamin? And I with my strength, who am greater and mightier than both of them, come this day upon you and your land, if you are unwilling to send our brother. Have you not heard what our Elohim, who made choice of us, did unto Pharaoh on account of Sarah our mother, whom he took away from our father? That he smote him and his household with heavy plagues, that even unto this day the Mitzrayim relate this wonder to each other? So will our Elohim do unto you on account of Benjamin, whom you have this day taken from his father, and on account of the evils which you this day heap over us in your land. For our Elohim will remember his covenant with our father Abraham, and bring evil upon you, because you have grieved the soul of our father this day. Now, therefore, hear my words, that I have this day spoken unto you, and send our brother that he may go away, lest you and the people of your land die by the sword. For you cannot all prevail over me. And Yosef answered Yehudah, saying, Why have you opened wide your mouth? And why do you boast over us, saying, Strength is with you? As Pharaoh lives, if I command all my valiant men to fight with you, surely you and these your brethren would sink in the mire. And Yehudah said unto Yosef, Surely it becomes you and your people to fear me. As Yahuwah lives, if I once draw my sword, I shall not sheath it again, until I shall this day have slain all Mitzrayim. And I will commence with you, and finish with Pharaoh your Adonai. And Yosef answered and said unto him, Surely strength belongs not alone to you. I am stronger and mightier than you. Surely if you draw your sword, I will put it to your neck, and the necks of all your brethren. And Yehudah said unto him, Surely, if I this day open my mouth against you, I would swallow you up, that you be destroyed from off the earth, and perish this day from your kingdom. And Yosef said, Surely, if you open your mouth, I have power and might to close your mouth with a stone, until you shall not be able to utter a word. See how many stones are before us. Truly, I can take a stone, and force it into your mouth, and break your jaws. And Yehudah said, Elohim is witness between us, that we have not hitherto desired to battle with you. Only give us our brother, and we will go from you. And Yosef answered and said, As Pharaoh lives, if all the kings of Canaan came together with you, you should not take him from my hand. Now, therefore, go your way to your father, and your brother shall be unto me for a slave, for he has robbed the king's house. And Yehudah said, What is it to you or to the character of the king? Surely the king sends forth from his house throughout the land silver and gold, either in gifts or expenses. And you still talk about your cup, which you did place in our brother's bag, and say that he has stolen it from you? Far be it that our brother Benjamin, or any of the seed of Abraham, should do this thing to steal from you, or from anyone else, whether king, prince, or any man. Now, therefore cease this accusation, lest the whole earth hear your words, saying, For a little silver the king of Mitzrayim wrangled with the men, and he accused them, and took their brother for a slave. And Joseph answered and said, Take unto you this cup, and go from me, and leave your brother for a slave, for it is the judgment of a thief to be a slave. And Yehudah said, Why are you not ashamed of your words, to leave our brother and to take your cup? Surely, if you give us your cup, or 1,000 times as much, we will not leave our brother for the silver which is found in the hand of any man, that we will not die over him. And Joseph answered, And why did you forsake your brother and sell him for 20 pieces of silver unto this day? And why then will you not do the same to this, your brother? And Yehudah said, Yahuwah is witness between me and you, that we desire not your battles. Now therefore give us our brother, and we will go from you without quarreling. And Joseph answered and said, If all the kings of the land should assemble, they will not be able to take your brother from my hand. And Yehudah said, What shall we say unto our father, when he sees that our brother comes not with us, and will grieve over him? And Joseph answered and said, This is the thing which you shall tell unto your father, saying, The rope has gone after the bucket. And Yehudah said, Surely you are a king, and why speak you these things, giving a false judgment? Woe unto the king who is like unto you. And Joseph answered and said, There is no false judgment in the word that I spoke on account of your brother Joseph. For all of you sold him to the Midianim for 20 pieces of silver. And you all denied it to your father, and said unto him, An evil beast has devoured him. Joseph has been torn to pieces. And Yehudah said, Behold, the fire of Shem burns in my heart. Now I will burn all your land with fire. And Joseph answered and said, Surely your sister-in-law Tamar, who killed your sons, extinguished the fire of Shechem. And Yehudah said, If I pluck out a single hair from my flesh, I will fill all Mitzrayim with its blood. And Joseph answered and said, Such is your custom, to do as you did to your brother, whom you sold, and you dipped his coat in blood, and brought it to your father, in order that he might say, An evil beast devoured him, and here is his blood. And when Yehudah heard this, he was exceedingly angry, and his anger burned within him. And there was before him in that place a stone, the weight of which was about 400 shekels. And Yehudah's anger was kindled, and he took the stone in one hand, and cast it to the heavens, and caught it with his left hand. And he placed it afterward under his legs, and he sat upon it with all his strength, and the stone was turned into dust from the force of Yehudah. And Joseph saw the act of Yehudah, and he was very much afraid. But he commanded Manasseh his son, and he also did with another stone, like unto the act of Yehudah. And Yehudah said unto his brethren, Let not any of you say, This man is a Mitzri, but by his doing this thing, he is of our father's family. And Joseph said, Not to you only is strength given, for we are also powerful men, and why will you boast over us all? And Yehudah said unto Joseph, Send, I pray you, our brother, and ruin not your country this day. And Joseph answered and said unto them, Go and tell your father, An evil beast has devoured him, as you said concerning your brother Joseph. And Yehudah spoke to his brother Naphtali, and he said unto him, Make haste, go now, and number all the streets of Mitzrayim, and come and tell me. And Shimon said unto him, Let not this thing be a trouble to you. Now I will go to the mount, and take up one large stone from the mount, and level it at everyone in Mitzrayim, and kill all that are in it. And Yosef heard all these words that his brethren spoke before him, and they did not know that Yosef understood them, for they imagined that he knew not to speak Ivrit. And Yosef was greatly afraid at the words of his brethren, lest they should destroy Mitzrayim. And he commanded his son Manasseh, saying, Go now, make haste, and gather unto me all the inhabitants of Mitzrayim, and all the valiant men together, and let them come to me now upon horseback, and on foot, and with all sorts of musical instruments. And Manasseh went and did so. And Naphtali went as Yehudah had commanded him, for Naphtali was light-footed as one of the swift stags, and he would go upon the ears of grain, and they would not break under him. And he went and numbered all the streets of Mitzrayim, and found them to be 12. And he came hastily and told Yehudah. And Yehudah said unto his brethren, Hasten you and put on every man his sword upon his loins, and we will come over Mitzrayim, and smite them all, and let not a remnant remain. And Yehudah said, Behold, I will destroy 3 of the streets with my strength, and you shall each destroy 1 street. And when Yehudah was speaking this thing, behold, the inhabitants of Mitzrayim and all the mighty men came toward them with all sorts of musical instruments, and with loud shouting. And their number was 500 cavalry and 10,000 infantry, and 400 men who could fight without sword or spear, only with their hands and strength. And all the mighty men came with great storming and shouting, and they all surrounded the sons of Yaakov and terrified them, and the ground quaked at the sound of their shouting. And when the sons of Yaakov saw these troops, they were greatly afraid of their lives. And Yosef did so in order to terrify the sons of Yaakov, to become tranquilized. And Yehudah, seeing some of his brethren terrified, said unto them, Why are you afraid, while the grace of Elohim is with us? And when Yehudah saw all the people of Mitzrayim surrounding them at the command of Yosef to terrify them, only Yosef commanded them, saying, Do not touch any of them. Then Yehudah hastened and drew his sword, and uttered a loud and bitter scream. And he smote with his sword, and he sprang upon the ground, and he still continued to shout against all the people. And when he did this thing, Yahuwah caused the terror of Yehudah and his brethren to fall upon the valiant men and all the people that surrounded them. And they all fled at the sound of the shouting, and they were terrified, and fell one upon the other. And many of them died as they fell. And they all fled from before Yehudah and his brethren, and from before Yosef. And while they were fleeing, Yehudah and his brethren pursued unto the house of Pharaoh, and they all escaped. And Yehudah again sat before Yosef, and roared at him like a lion, and gave a great and tremendous shriek at him. And the shriek was heard at a distance, and all the inhabitants of Sukkot heard it. And all Mitzrayim quaked at the sound of the shriek. And also the walls of Mitzrayim and of the land of Goshen fell in from the shaking of the earth. And Pharaoh also fell from his throne upon the ground. And also all the pregnant women of Mitzrayim and Goshen miscarried when they heard the noise of the shaking, for they were terribly afraid. And Pharaoh sent word, saying, What is this thing that has this day happened to the land of Mitzrayim? And they came and told him all the things from beginning to end. And Pharaoh was alarmed, and he wondered and was greatly afraid. And his fright increased when he heard all these things. And he sent unto Yosef, saying, You have brought unto me the Ivriim to destroy all Mitzrayim. What will you do? What will you do with that thievish slave? Send him away, and let him go with his brethren, and let us not perish through their evil, even we, you, and all Mitzrayim. And if you desire not to do this thing, cast off from you all my valuable things, and go with them to their land, if you delight in it. For they will this day destroy my whole country, and slay all my people. Even all the women of Mitzrayim have miscarried through their screams. See what they have done merely by their shouting and speaking. Moreover, if they fight with the sword, they will destroy the land. Now, therefore, choose that which you desire, whether me or the Ivriim, whether Mitzrayim or the land of the Ivriim. And they came and told Yosef all the words of Pharaoh that he had said concerning him. And Yosef was greatly afraid at the words of Pharaoh, And Yehuda and his brethren were still standing before Yosef, indignant and enraged. And all the sons of Yaakov roared at Yosef, like the roaring of the sea and its waves. And Yosef was greatly afraid of his brethren, and on account of Pharaoh. And Yosef sought a pretext to make himself known unto his brethren, lest they destroy all Mitzrayim. And Yosef commanded his son Manasseh, and Manasseh went and approached Yehuda, and placed his hand upon his shoulder, and the anger of Yehuda was stilled. And Yehuda said unto his brethren, Let none of you say that this is the act of a Mitzri youth, for this is the work of my father's house. And Yosef, seeing and knowing that Yehuda's anger was stilled, he approached to speak unto Yehuda in the language of mildness. And Yosef said unto Yehuda, Surely you speak truth, and have this day verified your assertions concerning your strength. And may your Elohim, who delights in you, increase your welfare. But tell me truly, why from amongst all your brethren do you wrangle with me on account of the lad, as none of them have spoken one word to me concerning him? And Yehuda answered Yosef, saying, Surely you must know that I was security for the lad to his father, saying, If I brought him not unto him, I should bear his blame forever. Therefore have I approached you from amongst all my brethren, for I saw that you were unwilling to suffer him to go from you. Now, therefore, may I find grace in your sight, that you shall send him to go with us. And behold, I will remain as a substitute for him, to serve you in whatsoever you desire. For wheresoever you shall send me, I will go to serve you with great energy. Send me now to a mighty king who has rebelled against you, and you shall know what I will do unto him and unto his land. Although he may have cavalry and infantry, or an exceeding mighty people, I will slay them all, and bring the king's head before you. Do you not know, or have you not heard, that our father Abraham, with his servant Eliezer, smote all the kings of Tehilliym with their hosts in one night? They left not one remaining. And ever since that day our father's strength was given unto us for an inheritance, for us and our seed forever. And Yosef answered and said, You speak truth, and falsehood is not in your mouth. For it was also told unto us that the Ephraim have power, and that Yahuwah Elohim delights much in them. And who then can stand before them? However, on this condition will I send your brother. If you will bring before me his brother, the son of his mother, of whom you said that he had gone from you down to Mitzrayim, and it shall come to pass when you bring unto me his brother, I will take him in his stead, because not one of you was security for him to your father. And when he shall come unto me, I will then send with you his brother, for whom you have been security. And Yehuda's anger was kindled against Yosef when he spoke this thing, and his eyes dropped blood with anger. And he said unto his brethren, How doth this man this day seek his own destruction, and that of all Mitzrayim? And Shimon answered Yosef, saying, Did we not tell you at first that we knew not the particular spot to which he went, and whether he be dead or alive? And wherefore speaks my Adonai like unto these things? And Yosef, observing the countenance of Yehuda, discerned that his anger began to kindle when he spoke unto him, saying, Bring unto me your other brother instead of this brother. And Yosef said unto his brethren, Surely you said that your brother was either dead or lost. Now if you should call him this day, and he should come before you, would you give him unto me instead of his brother? And Yosef began to speak and call out, Yosef, Yosef, come this day before me, and appear to your brethren, and sit before them. And when Yosef spoke this thing before them, they looked each a different way to see from whence Yosef would come before them. And Yosef observed all their acts, and said unto them, Why do you look here and there? I am Yosef, whom you sold to Mitzrayim. Now therefore let it not grieve you that you sold me. For as a support during the famine did Elohim send me before you. And his brethren were terrified at him when they heard the words of Yosef, and Yehuda was exceedingly terrified at him. And when Benjamin heard the words of Yosef, he was before them in the inner part of the house. And Benjamin ran unto Joseph his brother, and embraced him, and fell upon his neck, and they wept. And when Joseph's brethren saw that Benjamin had fallen upon his brother's neck, and wept with him, they also fell upon Joseph, and embraced him. And they wept a great weeping with Joseph. And the voice was heard in the house of Joseph, that they were Joseph's brethren. And it pleased Pharaoh exceedingly, for he was afraid of them, lest they should destroy Mitzrayim. And Pharaoh sent his servants unto Joseph, to congratulate him concerning his brethren who had come to him. And all the captains of the armies and troops that were in Mitzrayim came to rejoice with Joseph. And all Mitzrayim rejoiced greatly about Joseph's brethren. And Pharaoh sent his servants to Joseph, saying, Tell your brethren to fetch all belonging to them, and let them come unto me, and I will place them in the best part of the land of Mitzrayim. And they did so. And Joseph commanded him that was set over his house to bring out to his brethren gifts and garments. And he brought out to them many garments, being robes of royalty and many gifts. And Joseph divided them amongst his brethren. And he gave unto each of his brethren a change of garments of gold and silver, and 300 pieces of silver. And Joseph commanded them all to be dressed in these garments, and to be brought before Pharaoh. And Pharaoh, seeing that all Joseph's brethren were valiant men, and of beautiful appearance, he greatly rejoiced. And they afterward went out from the presence of Pharaoh, to go to the land of Canaan to their father. And their brother Benjamin was with them. And Joseph rose up and gave unto them 11 chariots from Pharaoh. And Joseph gave unto them his chariot, upon which he rode on the day of his being crowned in Mitzrayim, to fetch his father to Mitzrayim. And Joseph sent to all his brothers' children garments according to their numbers, and 100 pieces of silver to each of them. And he also sent garments to the women of his brethren from the garments of the king's women, and he sent them. And he gave unto each of his brethren 10 men to go with them to the land of Canaan, to serve them, to serve their children and all belonging to them in coming to Mitzrayim. And Joseph sent by the hand of his brother Benjamin 10 suits of garments for his 10 sons, a portion above the rest of the children of the sons of Yaakov. And he sent to each 50 pieces of silver, and 10 chariots on the account of Pharaoh. And he sent to his father 10 asses laden with all the luxuries of Mitzrayim, and 10 she-asses laden with grain and bread and nourishment for his father, and to all that were with him as provisions for the road. And he sent to his sister Dinah garments of silver and gold, and frankincense and myrrh, and aloes, and women's ornaments in great plenty. And he sent the same from the women of Pharaoh to the women of Benjamin. And he gave unto all his brethren also to their women all sorts of onyx stones and bdellium, and from all the valuable things amongst the great people of Mitzrayim. Nothing of all the costly things was left but what Joseph sent to his father's household. And he sent his brethren away, and they went, and he sent his brother Benjamin with them. And Joseph went out with them to accompany them on the road unto the borders of Mitzrayim. And he commanded them concerning his father and his household to come to Mitzrayim. And he said unto them, Do not quarrel on the road, for this thing was from Yahuwah to guard a great people from starvation. For there will be yet 5 years of famine in the land. And he commanded them, saying, When you come unto the land of Canaan, do not come suddenly before my father in this affair, but act in your wisdom. And Joseph ceased to command them, and he turned and went back to Mitzrayim. And the sons of Yaakov went to the land of Canaan with joy and cheerfulness to their father Yaakov. And they came unto the borders of the land, and they said to each other, What shall we do in this matter before our father? For if we come suddenly to him and tell him the matter, he will be greatly alarmed at our words, and will not believe us. And they went along until they came near unto their houses, and they found Serach, the daughter of Asher, going forth to meet them. And the damsel was very good and subtle, and knew how to play upon the harp. And they called unto her, and she came before them, and she kissed them. And they took her and gave unto her a harp, saying, Go now before our father, and sit before him, and strike upon the harp, and speak these words. And they commanded her to go to their house, and she took the harp and hastened before them. And she came and sat near Yaakov. And she played well and sang, and uttered in the sweetness of her words, Yosef, my uncle, is living, and he rules throughout the land of Mitzrayim, and he is not dead. And she continued to repeat and utter these words, and Yaakov heard her words, and they were agreeable to him. He listened while she repeated them twice and thrice, and joy entered the heart of Yaakov at the sweetness of her words. And the Ruach Elohim was upon him, and he knew all her words to be true. And Yaakov blessed Sarah when she spoke these words before him. And he said unto her, My daughter, may death never prevail over you, for you have revived my Ruach. Only speak yet before me as you have spoken, for you have gladdened me with all your words. And she continued to sing these words, and Yaakov listened, and it pleased him, and he rejoiced, and the Ruach Elohim was upon him. While he was yet speaking with her, behold, his sons came to him with horses and chariots and royal garments and servants running before them. And Yaakov rose up to meet them, and saw his sons dressed in royal garments. And he saw all the treasures that Yosef had sent to them. And they said unto him, Be informed that our brother Yosef is living, and it is he who rules throughout the land of Mitzrayim, and it is he who spoke unto us as we told you. And Yaakov heard all the words of his sons, and his heart palpitated at their words. And he could not believe them until he saw all that Yosef had given them, and what he had sent him, and all the signs which Yosef had spoken unto them. And they opened out before him, and showed him all that Yosef had sent. They gave unto each what Yosef had sent him, and he knew that they had spoken the truth. And he rejoiced exceedingly on account of his son. And Yaakov said, It is enough for me that my son Yosef is still living. I will go and see him before I die. And his sons told him all that had befallen them. And Yaakov said, I will go down to Mitzrayim to see my son and his offspring. And Yaakov rose up and put on the garments which Yosef had sent him. And after he had washed and shaved his hair, he put upon his head the turban which Yosef had sent him. And all the people of Yaakov's house and their women put on the garments which Yosef had sent to them. And they greatly rejoiced at Yosef that he was still living, and that he was ruling in Mitzrayim. And all the inhabitants of Canaan heard of this thing, and they came and rejoiced much with Yaakov, that he was still living. And Yaakov made a feast for them for 3 days. And all the kings of Canaan and nobles of the land ate and drank and rejoiced in the house of Yaakov. The end of chapter 54. Psalms, Tehilliym, chapter 74. Maskil of Asaph. O Elohim, why have you cast us off forever? Why does your anger smoke against the sheep of your pasture? Remember your assembly, which you have purchased of old, the rod of your inheritance which you have redeemed, this Mount Zion, wherein you have dwelt. Lift up your feet upon the perpetual desolations, even all that the enemy has done wickedly in the sanctuary. Your enemies roar in the midst of your assemblies. They set up their ensigns for signs. A man was famous according as he had lifted up axes upon the thick trees. But now they break down the carved work thereof at once with axes and hammers. They have cast fire into your sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of your name to the ground. They said in their hearts, Let us destroy them together. They have burned up all the synagogues of El in the land. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet, neither is there among us any that knows how long. O Elohim, how long shall the adversary reproach? Shall the enemy blaspheme your name forever? Why do you withdraw your hand, even your right hand? Pluck it out of your bosom. For Elohim is my king of old, working deliverance in the midst of the earth. You divided the sea by your strength. You broke the heads of the dragons in the waters. You broke the heads of Leviathan in pieces and gave him to be meat to the people inhabiting the wilderness. You did cleave the fountain and the flood. You dried up mighty rivers. The day is yours. The night also is yours. You have prepared the light and the sun. You have set all the borders of the earth. You have made summer and winter. Remember this, that the enemy has reproached, O Yahuwah, and that the foolish people have blasphemed your name. O deliver not the soul of your turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the assembly of your proof forever. Have respect unto the covenant, for the dark places of the earth are full of the habitations of cruelty. O let not the oppressed return ashamed. Let the poor and needy praise your name. Arise, O Elohim, plead your own cause. Remember how the foolish man reproaches you daily. Forget not the voice of your enemies. The tumult of those that rise up against you increases continually. Hallelujah. All praise and glory to the Most High Yah, Yahuwah, Yahweh, in the name of the Son, Yahusha, Yahawashai, HaMashiach. Thank you so much for this time. Thank you for following along. I pray this is a blessing to you and that you are reading and studying. Thank you so much. All praise and glory. Thank you. Shalom.